Welcome down to the Hangout on your boom station. I'm your host, Katie Sears, joined by my selector, Fearless, and we'll be with you guys all the way until 12 today, making sure we bring the hits the right way. It's a special day today. Joining me in studio, I have quite a few influential young men in the studio with me, and I can't wait to have a conversation with them. I wonder why somebody's giggling. I can't wait to have a conversation with them because they have a few updates for us, and I'm sure the residents of Linden would like to hear all about that. But joining me in studio today, I have our Prime Minister, Mr. Mark Phillips, joined by our Minister, Mr. Juan Edgel. He is here quite often with us. I think he loves us here in Linden. Joined by some other folks that we'll be introducing soon. Well, good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Oh, good morning. I'm fine.
Okay.
And being a Linden boy, so to speak, I'm happy to once again be here in studio to communicate to the people of Linden, my people, the people that I hold close to my heart. Actually, when this fire erupted, I was overseas on travel duty, representing Guyana at the Community for Latin American and Caribbean States Conference in Honduras. So I decided on my return to Guyana, as early as possible, to visit Linden, to have a first-hand view as to what has happened and what we're doing about what happened in regards to the fire site. So I had some conversation with Bishop Edgel, as you mentioned. You know, he's in Linden almost every day.
Yes.
Right? So we decided to come up this morning and we walked with our experts. We have Mr. Kemraj Parashram from the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. I have Colonel Nazrul Hussain, who is the Director General of the Civil Defense Commission, and of course the station officers, Mark Smith, who is resident in Linden, among others who join us on our visit to the site. We have the MP, Figueroa, and some of the private sector guys, the operators of Sawmill. So we had a quite comprehensive brief and walkthrough of the area. So I'm in a better position now to know what occurred and what we have been doing. I can tell you up front that from government standpoint, we will facilitate all the equipment, all the resources that are required by the fire service, the CDC, and the private operators, who I must say are very instrumental. And I must commend them for the work that they would have done, mobilizing resources and doing all the work round the clock to contain the fire into one area. It's going to continue burning. We're going to talk more about that later. I will allow the experts to speak on that. But we've been able to contain the fire. What we're going to do now is to continue our efforts to suppress the smoke, because the smoke is affecting the people who live in proximity to the location of the fire. All right, so from government standpoint, we treat this as a disaster. It's a man-made disaster, not a natural disaster, but nevertheless it's a disaster, and therefore as the national coordinator for disasters in Guyana, there's one of the hats that I wear. I'm here, and I'm here with Colonel Hussain, and of course it has environmental impact connotations, and therefore Mr. Parashram definitely consented to join us here today. And the fire service, of course, the operational arm. And of course Bishop here, the man on the ground. Right, so having done that, lay the groundwork in terms of letting the people know that government will leave no stone unturned in trying to bring relief as early as possible to all the people who are so affected. I would perhaps ask Bishop and Mr. Parashram and Colonel Hussain and Fire Chief to have their say.
All right, so you mentioned our Civil Defense Commissioner, Mr. Hussain. Welcome. What is your take on this fire? What took place? Give us some updates.
Very good morning to all the people of Linden. We've came up here, as Prime Minister said, to have a first-hand look at how things are going. My team has been on the ground the day after the fire, so we have been monitoring what's going on. Of course, the fire is because of as Prime Minister says, man-made because of the combustible material there. But and the challenge we've had was to eliminate the fire. But that main threat has been eliminated, and we're dealing with the residual impacts. We have on board, the other stakeholders, which includes the RDC, the Regional Democratic System. We always engage them in terms of dealing with disasters at the regional level. Additionally, we have the other agencies, the Fire Service, the Forestry Commission, the GWI, including, and as Prime Minister Mr. Kemarach from the Environmental Services, and we're currently on the ground doing an assessment, so we'll know what measures to take on the affected residents. But all of that has been worked out. We're going to remain on the ground until this entire threat is resolved, and we're going to be engaging, as Prime Minister said, with all the other agencies, and then we leave when all has been safe and sound.
So what measures are being taken to extinguish this fire fully?
Well, initially, I leave that to the fire expert. But initially, I leave that to the fire expert.
All right, we'll speak with him. You can come through, sir.
Okay, good morning.
We have to switch seats probably. All right, fire expert, please introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Mark Smith. I'm the fire officer in charge of
Okay.
It's too loud, it's falling.
You've been fighting this fire since Wednesday.
Right, Wednesday.
Yeah, since Wednesday. A lot of water has been thrown onto this fire. So it's smothering with sand. But the fire is being reduced significantly. It's contained to the valley. But there's a lot of smoking going on right now, so we have to go back and continue soaking. So we could suppress the smoke because it's greatly affecting the residents in the area.
Any chance of this fire spreading?
Not right now.
No,
It
so
won't
that's
spread.
not possible.
No, it's
Oh.
contained in valley right now.
All right, okay. Well, there you have it, guys. I know a few persons were asking what if it spreads to the other sawmill to burn those down, but that's not possible,
No,
right?
the
Okay.
sawmills are far.
Far,
One
okay.
spread to that.
All right, I trust your take on it. I did not go to the site. I did see the fire from where I live. I said, this is really big. I played fast just a little bit, and I drove and I went on the main road and I saw how huge it was, but I would not go much farther, much closer. So I'm happy I understand that it is not possible, guys, for it to burn down any of the other sawmills or so, and it's being contained. It's contained right now, right?
In the valley, yeah.
Yeah, all right, great. I do want to speak with Mr. Kemarach, Executive Director at EPA. At this point, we know that this fire posed some sort of health issues to persons because of all that smoke, of course, persons who are in close proximity. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What are we doing to prevent that?
Good morning, Lyndon. I'm glad to be here as well. And in fact, on Friday night, Bishop Edgel, Minister, called me and advised me of the situation here. And so immediately we sent up a team, and we've been monitoring the situation. Of course, the fire started with the natural gas coming up, and that caused it to burn. But thanks to the fire service, they were managed to maintain it and keep it restrained from spreading any further.
Right.
The issue is the smoke. So we have staff right now on the ground actually monitoring the concentration of carbon monoxide, or smoke as we call it locally, to see if it's going to impact residents. Some residents, because of their sensitivity, they're expressing that they've been affected, eyes burning. Those are asthmatic will have some effects. Of course, the CDC is working on relocating some of those vulnerable population. But the key thing is that we measure the concentration, and it is not exceeding the World Health Standards. Bar depends on the wind. You may have a concentration in particular homes and so on. But the key thing is that the staff is on the ground monitoring it and advising residents what they need to do. So that will be until the entire smoking has been suppressed.
Okay.
Entirely.
All right, happy we have that covered. Sorry, Mr. Mark, just one more time, if you could just switch seats with him again. I do believe that maybe if we were, you guys were told a little bit sooner or so about this fire, I think we probably could have had it contained a little bit faster. So do you have any fire prevention tips or so, or how persons can get onto you guys if there's any sort of fire hazard? Anything that they see that could be a problem before it gets bigger, before it gets to that stage? What can we do? Who do we contact? And any kind of fire prevention that you could get?
We have contact numbers 444-6233 or 912.
All right,
You call 912 on your cell phone, you'll get headquarters.
okay,
You don't have to get 2024 to call 912.
all right, understand. Okay, sir. Anything else from you, Prime Minister?
Well, certainly, to the people who are affected, as Mr. Parshram and Colonel Hussein mentioned, we will continue to encourage them not only to use protection, whether it's a mask or so, but also the whole issue of relocation. Because if this gets out of hand, if the situation deteriorates and the smoke becomes more concentrated, we will have to relocate people to shelters, and my understanding is that the CDC has already identified some areas for possible shelter establishment. So these are some of the actions that we are ready to support the community of Linden and the people who are affected, right? Additional mask or whatever other protective gear to help them in this case of the smoke inhalation, and also the relocation once it becomes necessary.
Okay, all right.
According to Hussein, perhaps.
Right. Continuing for Prime Minister, we've identified, we have established buildings and designated shelters in Linden.
Okay.
And but we're working with the community because since Friday we noted a reluctance for them to evacuate because of security and safety challenges. But we are encouraging them to, because school is out and it's holidays, for the children to move to other areas during the day, and especially when they're at work.
Right.
We've worked out that many of the persons are away from their homes because they're at work. When they go back in the evening, it's a bit cooler, so there's less pollution, and I think that's why they're managing. But once it escalates, we'll definitely move more aggressively. There's one shelter identified, and she's still also reluctant to leave. But definitely, if the situation gets out of hand, we'll definitely be a bit more aggressive and get it out.
I want to add that the work is ongoing. We've effectively contained the fire, you heard from all these people before, and we've already started pouring water into the area because water is used to suppress the effect of the smoke and also to help in eventually outing the fire, right? So we've already made some decisions on the ground. Guyana is on board, right? The fire service and the sawmill operators. So what is going to happen is that they're going to be trucking water and pouring water over the area, right? And this will be done in a sustained manner. And eventually, hopefully, eventually, it will lead to not only the suppression, but the outing of the fire. We're talking about, I was on the ground there, I just explained to the people, and we're talking about 30 odd years
Yeah, I heard that.
of sawmill waste, right?
Gloves and everything.
Ash, shaving, well, not ash, shaving, and pieces of water,
Yeah,
right? So obviously it's several feet
right.
in terms of depth, right? And that combustion, once it started, and then there's gas in there, as Mr. Parshram explained. So a lot of it has to burn out,
Yeah,
right? But as it burn out, if you could also douse it with water, that will help to suppress
right.
and out, hopefully, eventually out the fire. Alright, so it's an uphill task, but we're gonna be at it in a sustained manner, right? And we know that eventually the fire will go out. We want to do it as early as possible. And
Yes.
that's why we pulling together all the resources to get the water flowing there in a sustained manner, right? To bring relief in the earliest possible to the people of Linden. We know that in a matter of a week and a half is tongue week activities, right? And everybody's concerned about how soon we can out this fire, so we could focus on the observation of the tongue week activities. I know people come from all over the world and all over Guyana to celebrate the tongue week with Linden. Hopefully I'll come back here, but I'd like to see the fire being dealt with and possibly out, put out the fire before the tongue week activity.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for that. Okay, guys.
If I could take the opportunity to add, EPA encourages the region and working with the Guyana Forestry Commission and the Sawmill Mills so that we can prevent something like this happening again.
Yes.
And Bishop, the General Minister had mentioned that we need to come together, and one of the key things, we need to identify alternative locations for dumping of sawmill waste in the region, as well as garbage as well. So we'll be working with the town council, the region, and the relevant authorities to ensure that is done and ensure it doesn't happen again.
Thank you, Mr. Camaraj. That's exactly what we would like to hear. This would not happen again. All right, so there you have it, guys. The fire is under control. It's an ongoing process, but there's no chance of this fire spreading. They're doing everything in their power to suppress the smoke. Persons in the area who may be affected, I would also advise that you guys take that, option to evacuate. Think about your health, think about your kids. It's an option there on the table, and I think you guys should take it because we're working on it. We want to make sure that everybody is okay in that process as well.
Just know it's not cause for alarm at this moment, so
Right.
it will not cause anybody. As we monitor, we'll advise.
Okay. All right. Understand. Thank you so much, sir. Can I speak with our resident of Linden now? At this point, we're taking him as a resident because he's here quite often. He loves us. Mr. Edghill, good morning. How are you?
Lady, good morning, and good morning to all of Linden and those who are joining us on social media. Let me take this opportunity to thank the Prime Minister for taking the time. I know it is his responsibility as the gazetted person responsible for disaster preparedness to engage. And I'm glad that at his first opportunity he was able to be here. But just to assure all of Linden, there is nothing more that can be done that is not done. So nobody should be worried that they have neglected the fire burning, the smoke in the place, and nothing is not happening. Since the fire started, the fire department, which is the lead on this whole exercise, because they are the lead, we're just lending support, have done whatever they can do. I came on Friday to ensure that whatever additional resources they needed, they got. Late into Friday night, we were able to get excavators and dozers and truckloads of trucks of sand. We opened up the pit to get sand in the night. BOSAI allowed us to use their road, security give clearance, and there was a coming together of private sector and government resources to deal with the issue. People might not appreciate, but what they did was that they dug all the way around and isolate the burning area from every other thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So they had the excavators in there, and once they were able to dig all the way around, so there were huge trenches that were made to cut the fire off from sections all the way around. Once they did that, they started bringing in sand as a way of suppressing the blaze, because we went to places and the Prime Minister, as an old trooper, took us through the terrain. There's no way you could have gotten there with the blaze. I mean, the fire was just an enormous flame that was in a long stretch. GWI was able to be mobilized as well, and they provided support. There's a distinguished Lindener that, if I don't make mention of him, I wouldn't be doing justice, Mr. Forrester.
Okay.
He's taken on a role in this that is remarkable, because when I got here, he was already having his water tenders. Once we discussed about getting his trucks, he got his trucks out. Raj got his trucks out. While the live was going on, the chairman of the Private Sector Commission in Georgetown helped to mobilize resources. Japarks came and they started dumping, so we had truckloads of sand that came in there, and the dozers and the equipment to load and everything was a beautiful thing. So
Nice.
we were concerned because one of the operators got ill with the gases. When I called Mr. Parsham out on Friday night, they responded immediately, and he has already explained what he was doing. So this morning, with Prime Minister being on the ground, I think it was an excellent opportunity for us to look at what has been done, what else needs to be done, and ensuring that the Guyana Fire Service and all those that are involved get those resources to accomplish the task that is before them. So basically, there's no cause for alarm. We did walk through Obama Drive, the areas where the persons are living closest to the fire. So we've gotten a first-hand look and an assessment of what is going on there. And since Saturday, we started to deliver water to them because their source of water, with the ash, which is the creek, was contaminated. So both water for drinking and water for household use. And we have to keep on top of that. We did get masks distributed as well to ensure that people are protected. So like Prime Minister said, Tongue Week is going to be nice.
Yes.
But before we reach the Tongue Week, we got Easter, because this is right into the Easter season.
Right.
And not far from here on Easter Monday is that we want to be able to have a great family time together. The Easter Fest.
Yes.
At the Blue Lakes. And we look forward to seeing everybody out there, and we know some of the happenings in the town could suppress people's own level of joy or manifestations of happiness. But one of the things that is important in life, whether it's a crisis, a disaster, or a tragedy, the faster you get back to normalcy is better for your mental health. It is better for everybody else, and it's better for the sustained development of your own future and what is happening. So yes, we had this unfortunate environment to deal with, but we must get back to normal.
Right.
COVID was here. Prime Minister was at the forefront of that, and one of the things we had to do is to get everybody back to normal. We had to reopen our airports. We were the first in the Caribbean to reopen our airports because we discovered that COVID don't travel on the plane. COVID is from people to people. So when you close the countries that close their airports, like Trinidad, have more deaths than Guyana, who had an open airport. So we can make the case of that. So getting back to normal is what is important.
Yeah.
I would want to encourage all the Lindeners. This is Holy Week. Go out to worship. Meet in your places of worship. As we celebrate Holy Week, Good Friday is going to be a day of celebration of the crucifixion and resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. Get out there and worship, get back to normal. Let's empathize with those who are in mourning and those who are displaced or those who are affected by the happenings. And then let's engage as a family. So the government of Guyana would be hosting that Easter Fest at the Linden Blue Lakes on Easter Monday, and admission to that is free.
Yeah.
You don't pay to go in there. So what is going to actually be happening is that we're going to have kite distribution, so the kids could come and get their kites right to the Blue Lake. We're going to have a lot of fun activities. I'm advised, and people are just having a good time. There's going to be a cooking competition. I hope to be one of the judges. In that way, you see, if you're one of the judges, you get to eat from every pot.
Yes.
And that way nobody says that you're eating everywhere.
Yeah.
Because you're officially eating to judge.
Good idea.
So there's going to be a cooking competition, and so, they have the tents with the huge curries or whatever you want to call it, cooking, and then you'll be able to eat. They're going to be a bar, there are going to be other vendors there.
Jet ski rides.
Yes, and,
Yeah,
and,
kayaking.
and all the fancy stuff that's going to be taking
Right.
place.
Right.
And it is for everyone.
Right.
You know, it's part of our One Guyana platform, and we are not shy about bringing people together.
Yeah.
Look, we had a fire, we brought people together to work to out it. We must bring people together to celebrate. We must bring people together to work. We must bring people together to understand. So, on Easter Monday, 12 o'clock, Linden Blue Lakes is the place to be.
Right. I think you should have one tomorrow as well.
Yes. Oh, well,
Kite distribution.
I can tell you not just tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
When I leave the radio station here, I'm heading to Rockstone.
Okay.
Some of our people in Rockstone got issues with water. We're taking in black tanks to them. And we would also do kite distribution.
Okay.
Then from Rockstone, I'm heading to Moratario this afternoon
Nice.
for kite distribution. And then when I get out back, we will be at 2 places this afternoon. At Wisma, at Zargrung. Everybody know where Zargrung is.
Right, right.
And that is at 4 o'clock. And then we will be at Bay Rock at 5 o'clock. We will be distributing thousands of kites, so kids don't even have to fight to get a kite. There's enough.
Okay.
And I'm advised that we're getting some of the best cross buns
Oh.
out of Linden as well. Supporting small businesses in
Yeah,
Linden.
yeah.
So I'm actually supposed to sample one on my way to Rockstone.
Okay.
You see, that's the good thing about being official.
Right.
You get to eat from 10 pots, you get to sample across one before everybody else. But we'll be getting that out this afternoon. So this afternoon at Zargram, 4 o'clock, and at Bay Rock, 5 o'clock, we invite all the children on the Wisma shore to come out and get their kites. Then tomorrow, because you know you're a Mackenzie person.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's why you know more about Mackenzie than Wisma. Tomorrow in Mackenzie, we're going to be right out here in South Amelia's Ward.
Right.
The exact spot where the cash grant
Right.
is being distributed. What do you call that field?
That's the Amelia's Ward playfield.
Amelia's Ward.
South Amelia's
South
Ward
Amelia's
playfield.
Ward playfield.
Yeah.
We're going to be there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for the kite distribution.
Okay.
So all the kids from Bamia, Chinese Road, Cinderella City, South Amelia's Ward, the whole catchment.
Yes.
We're going to be out there to distribute kites. But before that, at 1 o'clock, I'm getting my marbles mixed up today. 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock in the mines, we're going to be there for kite distribution to all the kids in the mines, and then from the mines we go to Spikeland as well. So in that way, we will cover the entire area.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have teams of people right now in Develd, Sand Hills, Wikikalkuni, Wairuni, St. Helens, St. Lust, Hururu, taking kites to the kids now. They will be in Kokwani, they will be in Aikshuni, Araima, Landersville, Aikshuni, and then there's another team that is out at 47, 58, Magura
Okay.
Hill, Malali, because as a government, we take care of everybody. And I think that is the hallmark of the President Ali's government. We take care of the people who got fire, we take care of the people who got water issues, we take care of people who need their roads, we take care of people who need health, you got dialysis issues, you go get your grant, go get your treatment, you need to take care of the kids who go to school. So our work is always broad-based. So, and we will hope that some of the persons from those far-flung areas would participate on the One Guyana Easter Fest on Easter Monday as well.
All right.
And those who need some help with transportation, there are people who will be reached out for help. We are working with them to see how we can help them get here, because we know the distances are great. And I would want to take a moment as well to beg everybody, slow down on the Linden Mabura Road. Oh, the road nice.
It really is. I was there yesterday. It is really nice.
And did you slow down?
I definitely did. I tried.
You
sir.
tried?
It was so smooth. That road is beautiful.
Well, let me slow down now.
Yes, sir.
Because we got trucks toppling,
Yeah,
because they're driving too
such an
fast,
unfortunate event. Yeah.
We made the road to ensure that people get there easier, safer, not for you to practice the speed of your car.
Right.
Go on the circuit when you want to do that, but slow down. We want everybody to be safe. When we were coming up the highway this morning, Prime Minister recognized that we had to slow down to drive through where the bricks are, the
Right.
dust and everything. Slow down on the highway, let's make sure everybody is safe, and let's look out for one another. So people in Linden, let's look out for those in the Obama Drive area with the smoke. Let's keep looking out for each other. Let the kids have a good time, stay away from the electric wires. Let's fly our kites in open spaces. And like we would have provided an environment at the Blue Lakes, come out there and fly your kite. Preparation is being made for everybody to come down there and have fun. You don't have to pay. And I'm told, because I'm not the expert in these matters, they got one-man band. But I thought I was the one-man
Oh,
band. But I'm told the one-man band actually sings. I talk, but they have the one-man band.
No, we want to sing it.
The one band actually sings. There will be lots of entertainment and a real good time. And let's go on.
All right.
So thank you.
All right, so that's the Easter Fun Day and all the rest of schedule for kite distributions. Before we head out here, Prime Minister, can you tell us about your domino competition coming up in May, the annual domino competition?
Well, yes, May, as usual, the Prime Minister will normally sponsor that competition. As the tournament is the traditional location. It's at Shanghai's residence, and everybody in Linden knows Shanghai residence.
Right.
And we hoping to go bigger this year.
I heard that.
Than in the
Over
previous year.
1.5 million in prizes.
Yeah, over 1.5 million in prizes and
Yeah.
many more teams, right, from representing the different regions,
Yeah.
right, will converge on Shanghai's residence for 1 day of competition, right? Starting on the 4th, of course, but I will not be come for the final day.
Okay.
I come
Right,
to
so,
match, yeah.
so we're looking forward to that competition. This year is going to be bigger than ever before.
Okay.
All right, and we asking all people in Linden to show an interest. You can come to Shanghai Home if you cannot come to Shanghai Home to be part of the competition in person. At least support your team.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Thank
Right.
you.
And we can talk a little bit more about football that is coming up as well, because
Yeah.
Linden is about football.
Yes.
And the beach football is really taking on a real band. So we
Yeah.
can talk a little bit more about football.
Yeah. Okay. All
So
right.
in case I don't get a chance to see a lot of people, maybe when I'm shaving kites tomorrow and cross buns and so on, we'll be able to say Happy Easter.
Yeah.
But some of the elderly folks who might not get to come out, who would not come out because they're not going to fly kites,
Yeah.
let's take this opportunity to say Happy Easter to them. And remember, when you pray for us, pray for the good of Guyana, pray for the safety of all of us.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here.
Happy Easter to everyone too. Keep it in sentiments expressed by Bishop. Happy Easter.
Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being in studio with us. Thank you so much for the updates. I know the residents have been happy to hear from you guys. I'm so happy to hear the update because I personally was not there, so I'm happy to hear from the experts what is happening. I'm happy that the situation is under control and it will not get any worse. It will only get better and we'll go back to normalcy.
Yes.
Right? Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. You guys continue to have a great day. I know you have a day ahead of you, as usual, so have a safe one and thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, Katie, for having us.
Alright folks, that brings us to the end of this broadcast. Thank you for watching. Big up Katie!
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.